Good morning, welcome back to the van build series. Yesterday we hooked up the solar panel to the battery, and we also ran some piping from outside to inside the cabin. So we'll test that out today. I plugged it in the wrong way around yesterday, so I have to switch the tubings around. But once that's done, we can get started on putting in some structure for the kitchen. I just wanted to point out one thing yesterday with the charge controller. So initially I thought this was a battery monitor to say how full the battery is, but it's not. I noticed yesterday when the sun was going down that the percentage was also going down. So I believe that is showing how much energy is being pulled from the sun, the solar panel. So at this stage, I don't have something that tells me how much charge is in my battery. The previous owner did have a voltmeter, so to tell you how much voltage is actually being used, and you can kind of ascertain how much is left in the battery. So if the charge is lower, you know you need to charge the battery anyway. But I may look into getting a device to tell me how much percentage-wise is left in the battery. I'll see if they have anything like that in like a car or RV store. But that's a little bit out of the way because it's a little bit further from where I am at the moment. So I will eventually go there because I need to get more switches anyway, like light switches kind of thing. So I will check it out next time I'm up there. Today we will finish off the plumbing stuff and get started on the kitchen. For the life of me, I cannot find my measuring tape, and I'm pretty sure I took it up to the hardware store, but I don't remember having it with me after I came back, so I may have left it there. So this might be a little difficult. I'll see if my uncle's got one in his garage. But yeah, let's get started on that. As I said, I am running a little bit late today. Just some admin stuff this morning. But hopefully we haven't lost too much time. I did find a measuring tape here, but I have come across some issues when taking measurements for the kitchen. And that is again with the water tank, the hot water tank, sorry. It is slightly too large for me to mount it on the side of the kitchen. I can't. There's not really too much leeway for me with the height of the kitchen, because I need it to be in line with the bed. Otherwise, I won't be able to pull out the bed, and I won't be able to utilize the whole cabin to sleep on. I will think of something um, with this bloody water tank. My lowest backup plan, which isn't great, was actually to paint one of the pipings black and have the other one silver or white. Um, it's not a great solution, but it will warm the water up. It just won't make it piping hot. Um, let me see if I can figure something out with this bloody heater. I've hooked up the pump, the water pump, and I've switched over the tubing, so it should flow correctly now. I'm just going to move the piping on that side so everything's all on one side and we can see what's happening. Okay, it's time to start the water test. So I'll just reiterate what I did yesterday. There is two pipes here. So each of these is going to go to one of each of the tanks. So I'm just using the small bottle at the moment as the water tanks, but there's still two tubes, so it should suction out of both of them and go to this T-joint here. That T-joint has one tube that goes down into the cabin and to the pump. I've got the pump connected up to another tubing, which is this one here. So it should come out of this tube here. Just bear in mind that this might take a while because I haven't actually cut any of the tubing, so there's like 30 or 40 meters of tubing at the moment, and it's got to run through the whole thing. Okay, let's get it started. Okay, great. So it is flowing. It is going down. Let's see how far it is here. Okay, it is running. Oh, and there it goes. And we've run out of water. But it is working, which is great. I'm going to start putting tubing in the water storage. After that, we'll go up to the hardware store and get some more equipment. I need to put water inlet, some sort of piping for that as well, just so that I don't have to keep taking everything apart. It needs a breather hole as well, which I'm planning to use that inlet as the breather hole. Just before I go up as well, I need to figure out where I'm going to run the grey water. So any used water that I do use, in some situations it's not going to be feasible to just let it pour out on the street. So you know, I'm going to put a tank somewhere to collect that water until I can find a suitable place to, like a dumping station or something, to empty it out on. So I have just had a look under the car. Most of this side has mechanical stuff on it. So like all the like the petrol tank the LPG piping, the shaft, uh, all that kind of stuff is mostly on this side. But on the other side, there's actually quite a lot of space. So there's this huge empty area right here. So I think that would be suitable for the not the LPG, the grey water. So I'll probably use a system like the PVC and just mount it underneath there and have a tube running there. Because the kitchen's going to be on this side, um, it means I need to run tubing from here to that side. And the best way that I have seen so far is to keep away from all the explosive areas and use this area here. So this would be right here. So drill down into there. There's a bit of space under there where I can just in here, and you can probably see some screws already that's poked through. Those screws are from the plywood underneath the flooring. So it's not touching anything. So there is enough space there for me to drill through. So I will drill through there and put a tube that runs along here, and I will use this bumper bar as conduit to keep it up, and then run it on the other side. So it'll run through down there along the bumper bar and then come through here, and then I can mount it under there. I'm not sure of the logistics of the siphoning action because it's not a down gradient. I can't just rely on gravity to push the water down into the tank. But I'm pretty sure siphon will be enough to push the water down because the hole where the water is coming from is higher than the grey water tank, which will be down here. The water pressure is higher the further up you go. So that should be enough to push it down, even if I do have curves and hills in the tubing. But we will have to test that out. If not, then I can use that secondary pump. It just means I have to switch the pump on to drain it out, which I don't really want to do. Yeah, so let's connect up the tubing to the water storage. I probably didn't explain that siphon mechanics very well. Physics very well. So I'm just going to show you. It's just easier to show you. So here I've got the water bottle. There's a tube, and this is a hill. So it doesn't matter if it's going up or down or up or down, so long as this end of the pipe is higher than this end of the pipe, it should suction down without any mechanical forces like a pump. So I'll just show you what I mean. So there you go. It's the tube's not touching the bottom, but you saw it. As soon as a little bit of water gets in there, it just keeps sucking out all the water until it's equalized in pressure. Okay, enough with the science experiments. Let's measure up the tubing. Okay. Actually, I noticed when I pulled this cap off just now, it gave off some pressure. It was a little bit difficult to pull off as well. I'm going to have it sealed and clamped anyway, but it was there was pressure in there. I think that may be from the cold and hot temperature changes overnight, but I'm pretty sure with the release valve, so just having an air hole in it will be enough to compensate for that. Okay, the water's all still there. I'll show you. Oh, and there's a fly. Okay, so the water's all still in there. I'll just push the tubing down. I'm pretty sure that's hit the end. Crap. Speaking of siphon mechanism, it's actually draining the water. No, I'm gonna have to leave it for now. Okay. Alright, so I'm not twisting it all the way in just yet, because I still need to drill the hole on the cap and secure it in and seal it and whatnot. Okay, so I have finished the tubing. So the tube runs all the way down to the end of the piping, and then connects up to the T-joint. So I filled both the tanks up. I'd say they're probably about 80% full on each of them. So I'm estimating roughly 50 litres of water in there. Let's turn on the pump and we'll just make sure everything's working correctly. I'm getting some air bubbles. No, it's fine now. Just took a little while. getting some good pressure on it actually. Um, I think that's enough. We've proved that it works. Um, there's no issues, so okay, happy with that. Uh, I might wait to drill into the caps until we get back from the hardware store. I still haven't picked out how I'm going to have an inlet for it, whether it's a open valve or to put like a hose ending to it. I'll just see what the options are at the hardware store. What else did we need to get? Grey water, that's right. So I need to put a hole, get some hosing for that, and a tank for it as well. Okay, let's head up to the hardware store now. I might put you on charge because you're running a little low. Yeah, I think it should be fine. It's almost midday, so hopefully we can get that fastened. Just before I head up, I did actually notice the hose is still draining water even without the pump. That will be the water pressure from siphoning. But it's the pressure's not enough uh, to explode if you put a stopper on it. So the tap faucets should be enough to stop that. I'm back from the hardware store. It took me 3 hours to get these plumbing tubes and connections. The reason it took so long, and it was very frustrating, was because the sink drain hole, this thing, where it releases the water to, it's designed to fit on grease traps. So it's like a U-shaped, but they didn't have anything that anything flexible that I could connect to that. So I've had to get all these different parts to compensate for that. And I need a flexible tube rather than a hard one like the PVC, because the kitchen's going to be moving. If it was just stationary, I could just have a hard tube that leads outside, but because it's moving, I need the tube to move as well. So I'll just quickly run through. Oh, by the way, they had this hole cutting drill head for $8, which is a lot cheaper than the others. But the guy at the hardware store did say that those the circle cutters are not designed for metal at all. So even if I did get one of the more expensive ones, it wouldn't cut through metal. I got it. I'm going to try it. He did say if you do try it, just do it on a very low speed. So I'll give it a go. if it breaks, it's $8. I'm not expecting anything. Okay, so the drainage. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use as the grey water tank. It's just PVC piping like the other one. This will be easy to mount with those adjustable clips. So on one end, I'm just putting a cap, same as before. I'm not going to water seal it, there's no point. It's just going to drain out anyway, doesn't really matter if it leaks a little. But I got this cap as well for the other end. This one's got fly screen mesh on it. Reason I got that is because water attracts mosquitoes. So I don't want them breeding if I do have water in here for extended periods. So I'll put that on here, this side, and then I've got this 90-degree bend that will go here. I'm not going to seal it in. It's just going to be exposed. There's no reason for me to seal it in. This also, I haven't decided if I'm going to put in a tap connection at the end or not, so I can attach a hose. But for now, I can just turn it to empty it. So that'll go on there, and then on the input end, I'll just have the hose running in there. I'll secure it on, but there's nothing special about it. That fly screen as well should catch most of the food debris. It's not going to make a difference anyway because I've got to empty the tank anyway. But having dry food waste is better than it being in a watery environment because the bacteria doesn't grow as fast. So it should help reduce any odors. So that is the grey water tank. So as I said, one of these ends is going to go in the grey water tank, but the other end has to connect up to the drain in the sink. So that's what these connections are for. So with it's one of those packages where you need like a knife to open it. Anyway, so it's got spiral, what do you call it? Like twist top on it. And I've got these adapters. So this adapter is the one that I put on the roof to run the cables and the solar power and the water tank through. So I've got that. This connection here actually fits on this. So it's not meant for it, but it does fit on it. So I'm gonna have that screwed into the drain sink, and then I can connect these two up like that, and then I can connect this one. So this one's more rubbery, and it will go on top here. It does take a little bit to get on. Anyway, it does go on. So that will go on there, and then I can connect that up to this hose. So the one of the other reasons I didn't get a grease trap is because it takes up too much space. my kitchen is only going to be about 50 centimeters high, and the grease trap itself is about 40 centimeters. So I wouldn't have any space anyway to run any more piping. So that's another reason why I didn't get the grease trap. Yeah, so we, I, I think we've only got about an hour left of sunlight, but we can still run this tubing. I might see if I can cut the hole into it. Ah, that's right. So I also got this bit. So this is a floor flange. Um, you put it on the floor and then you can run piping through it. I'm not going to run piping through it. I'm just going to put the grey water pipe tube, the grey water tube straight through it. I probably won't even seal it, to be honest. Or I might just put some tape or something over it. It's going to be hidden anyway. Yeah, I might just put some tape over it just so that bugs and stuff aren't tempted to crawl up it. Yeah, so let's get started on that and we'll see how much we can get done. Actually, I changed my mind. I don't think I will have enough time to put put that piping and grey water and all that kind of stuff in. So for now, I'm just going to tidy up the electrical area. I'll probably build another housing for it, just so that everything's neat and you know where everything is. It's getting a little dark, so I might sign off here, but I still haven't finished the electrical panel, but it is looking a lot neater. So this is what I've got here. So it's the same stuff. I'm just putting all the wires in the back and stuff like that. And it should be easier for me to access if I need to like flip the switch or anything like that. I know we didn't get a lot done today. I blame the hardware store. But tomorrow we should be able to power through at least the grey water tank. Yeah, we've got all our plumbing in place as well. So hopefully after the grey water we can start on the kitchen. Thanks again for joining.